What's up everybody, welcome to episode 2, happy Friday, and for those of you in the UK, happy bank holiday weekend. So today I just want to talk to you about one of my favourite lenses and why it's my recommendation for anyone who's starting out with photography or anyone who's looking to expand their kit. So let's get on with it, I'll tell you all about this little guy. Camera gear is expensive, and when you're starting out photography, filmmaking, or like me, starting out vlogging, the last thing you want to be doing is dropping hundreds of pounds on gear, and that itself can be extremely off-putting. So this is where this guy comes in. This is the Canon 50mm 1.8 Mark II, also known as the Nifty 50. So as a beginner photographer, this is all I needed. It's been everywhere with me, and in my first year of photography, I almost use this thing exclusively. So you may be asking yourself, why do I need this when most kit lenses cover the 50mm focal length? Well, firstly, it's a prime lens, so that means it has a fixed focal length. This means you can't zoom in, you can't zoom out. It's 50mm, it is what it is. And one of the benefits of having a prime lens is they're normally a lot sharper than a zoom lens, and only for a fraction of the price. Now, the 50mm is great focal length for beginners because it's not too wide, it's not too telephoto, and it's what's called the natural field of view. So that means when using the 50mm on a full frame sensor, it's going to be pretty much what the human eye sees. This means that the images you'll be taking will look natural, not too compressed or not too distorted. Another reason I like prime lenses, especially for beginners, is having a fixed focal length makes you think about composition. Not being able to zoom in or out on your subject really makes you think about not only composition, but where to be standing, how far away or how close you should be to your subject, and how to frame them to really make that subject stand out against the image. And that leads me on to my next point, which is I'm a big fan of those smooth, buttery, blurred out backgrounds with nice out of focus elements known as bokeh, and that can easily be done with this lens. That makes this great for street photography, portrait photography, product photography, even landscape photography, if those are the results you're trying to achieve. Now, as I said, this is a lens with an aperture of f1.8, which means the space in the lens that allows light in opens up real wide and allows tons of light into your camera's sensor. Having that amount of light passing through means you can really crank up your shutter speed, and that's where the terminology of a fast lens or a fast aperture comes from. By doing this, you'll be able to create a real shallow depth of field, isolating your subject from its background with those nice blurry backgrounds that we all know and love, as well as massively increasing your camera's low light performance. So this lens here cost me £50 about a year and a half ago, and I have actually seen them selling second hand from anywhere as low as 30, especially on places like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. It's 100% made out of plastic, which you can see, but that has its own benefits that I'll get onto in a second. Now, saying that, they do make a newer version of this, which is the Canon 50mm f1.8 STM lens. It's generally built a little bit nicer, it's got a metal lens mount on the back, and that retails for around £100. My point is that with the Mark II, you can really take advantage of, one, its affordability, its small form factor, and you're not scared of throwing it around where you wouldn't, say, for example, an L series lens. Well, you would, but I wouldn't. You'd have to be quite brave to throw around an L series lens. Now, for example, at the beginning of the year, I took a trip to Budapest and was shooting up at the Fisherman's Bastion. So it's this really cool castle, it looks over the city and the river, and I took most of my shots up there with both the 50mm 1.8 and the 100mm f2.8 L series lens. Now, the great thing about the Nifty 50 is I could just take this off my camera, throw it on a wall or in my pocket, put the 100mm on, start taking some nice telephoto photos, and if it was the other way around, I would have to carefully remove the 100mm, lay it back down in its cushioned camera bag, where you just don't really have to worry about the 50mm. Now, neat little tip with the 50mm. If you actually hold this the wrong way round against your camera body, you've got yourself a nice little macro lens, and that's great for, again, product photography, anywhere where you really need to get close and capture that detail. My only downside to this lens is it's loud when it's focusing. So if you're going to use this primarily for filmmaking, I'd probably save up and buy the STM version, as that's almost silent. But saying that, I use this for the majority of my B-roll. And that just about wraps us up here. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everyone who's watched my last video. I'll tag that down below. It really does make the process a lot easier when you're surrounded by supportive people and have great feedback. But yeah, that's it for today. So enjoy your weekend, and I will see you in the next one.